My wife Stacy and I founded Two Top Mountain Adaptive Sports up at Whitetail in 2007. We became a nonprofit, and we've kind of grown from 20-some lessons the first season to this winter we did 680 lessons to the disabled community. We work with anybody with a disability, but our focus with our location is to primarily to work with our disabled veterans. We are an adaptive sports program of choice for Walter Reed. They bus patients to us for winter skiing and snowboarding, and they bus them to us in the summertime for water skiing, and we're branching into adaptive cycling as well, hoping to get more people involved with our new sport of adaptive cycling. We have trikes, hand cycles, and pedal cycles, and conventional bikes. And we started our cycling last year, and it's kind of been a learning curve for my volunteers and myself, as well as for the people coming and using our equipment. Our main focus had been in our winter sports, and this winter we're thrilled to have set a new record for ourselves. We had 111 different disabled veterans participate in our program this winter, and they came a total of 368 visits. And we count a day lesson as a visit, and our lessons are always free for our disabled veteran. And I'm a firm believer to include immediate family. And I emphasize immediate family because sometimes over the years, that immediate family seems pretty big, and and we do our best, but our funding for the family is falling behind, sort of a little bit, but we haven't had to turn anyone away, and hopefully we can keep that going from year to year in the future. I can't imagine taking a double amputee, let's say, that's learning how to monoski and not get his whole family involved in a new sport. I've got my skis, and I love to ski. My ex-wife still has her horses, and she loves to ride. So I just kind of want to. That's where I'm coming from, where I think the family's an incredible bonus for the rehabilitation and the benefit of adaptive sports. We truly do change lives. There are people that come to us, and a spouse told me a few years ago, it's the first time she's seen her husband smile in 7 years. And there's different folks that come to us that don't really want to be there. They're being drugged there. A wife set up a date for her and her husband and 2 kids to come learn how to ski with us. And they wanted to come on Martin Luther King weekend. So I don't know if any of you have been at a ski resort on holiday weekends like that, but especially Whitetail gets extremely crowded. And I was trying to talk her out of coming that weekend. Why didn't she come the next weekend? It wouldn't be near as crowded. And she goes, well, it's my birthday and we're coming. Well, she came, and the next weekend they showed up again, and she had a new ski outfit, and we caught them. We had them on a hook, and we held on to them, and now her husband has his own monoski, and they've skied out west, and he's talking about going skiing in Europe, and the whole family gets together. They race down the hill. The kids are trying to pass Dad, but they can't really do anymore. Dad, it's hard to keep up with for my regular instructors. But the benefit of adaptive sports is truly way better, and maybe not even recognized by everyone. But you take someone, this winter we had several severe PTSD participants who were terrified to be where they were, looking at the mountain, wondering how on earth they were going to survive coming down the hill. And they too showed up the next day with a new ski jacket on and calmed down, relaxed, and ended up creating new friends, the camaraderie that we have with our program. Adam will vouch for that. That's how I met Adam. He called me and wanted to bring some veterans up, and they did several times. Those veterans kept coming back. Our program's a little different than some others. It's by reservation only, and we operate 7 days a week. That doesn't mean we're not closed on a Monday if we don't have any lessons, but we do pretty much try to accommodate anybody when they can make it. We have veterans that are working towards becoming certified instructors. We can work with them and help them learn how to teach and to give back, and we're hoping to get a couple of those through the process of becoming certified adaptive instructors. We have a couple of our participants were our Paralympians. Ralph de Quebec, who's an awesome defenseman on the sled hockey team, learned to monoski with us a few years ago, and then he started playing sled hockey. And you say you're streaming this, right? Well, anyway, it seems like some of the coaches in the Paralympic sports, when they find out that their athletes are doing other sports that might interfere or injure themselves. I haven't seen Ralph on a monoski now in years, but he's learned that gold medal with pride. And Noah Grove, another young man out of Frederick, is on the Paralympic ice hockey team as well. And he's probably wearing his gold medal around his neck. And he skied with us years ago as well. And hopefully we'll get him back once they stop playing sled hockey and get him skiing with us again. We've had a couple of other guys that, there's a snowboarder, James Sides is on the Paralympic snowboard team. And Aaron Howell is a monoskier that didn't see much out of him this winter. But anyway, it's a new sport. They can embrace it. It's an eye-opener for someone that's suffered incredible injuries to see that they could become competent and have fun out on the slopes. Cycling and water skiing are the same way. You get out there and realize, well, you might not have any legs, but a good flotation device keeps you on the surface, and you can paddle around, swim, and end up jumping the wake and having a great time being towed around in the water. We operate our summer program just north of Martinsburg on the Potomac River. We're on the Maryland side, just outside of Williamsport. We're proud to be guests of the Potomac Fish and Game Club, which is a private fishing and hunting club along the Potomac River. And they've got a beautiful pavilion and restrooms and right on the edge of the water. And it's a fantastic location. So as I mentioned, Walter Reed buses guys up to us in the summertime about every other Friday. And we do our water skiing on weekdays. We do our cycling on weekends. Water skiing on the Potomac River on weekends is taking your life in your hands. There's an awful lot of boat traffic. And so we don't do our water skiing on weekends, but that sport as well is by reservation only. People need to contact me. Two Top Mountain, spelled TWOTOP, Mountain. Or actually, our website is twotopadaptive.org. Check out our website. There's contact information there. And the program functions daily, winter and summer, but by reservation only. I've got some brochures here. I'd like to make sure everybody gets a brochure and a card. And looking forward to working with all of you to provide a service for our vets because they really need it. Who's that? Good enough?
Perfect, thank you.
I have some questions, Bill.
Sure, sorry.
So if you're making a reservation, do they have to have a referral, or they just call you directly? It was like they need to be saying they learned about it through Red Cross, or they learned.
Well, if there's still patients in a VA hospital, they need to be cleared by their doctor. Okay, so they need to be talking to their primary care doctor, and he's aware of the fact that they want to try skiing or snowboarding in the wintertime, or water skiing, cycling in the summertime. As long as they're cleared by, if there's still a patient in Martinsburg or wherever, because we're working with Martinsburg VA as well, and had a wonderful group of guys that came up, and they found out that they could come up the next weekend and the next weekend, and they kept coming. And that's the object of our program. Let people learn how to do this sport, and we'll help them become better and better and better at it.
Do they get a lesson each time they come? You're working directly with them, or with one of your instructors?
I have about 50 volunteers, so when someone comes to us, they need to come in. We provide them with their lift ticket and their lesson and all equipment that's necessary. If it's a monoski is something that someone who has paralysis in their legs and can't walk, or no legs at all, they can ride the monoski and learn how to ski. That requires 2 or 3 people to work with them. However many volunteers that are necessary to accomplish the lesson is what goes out with them. Now, snowboarders, we might send out 2 or 3 snowboarders that are at the same level with an instructor, but they tend to be one-on-one or 3-to-1 with the student.
And if they have a reservation, how far ahead do they usually need to make that?
Well, I've already got lessons booked for next January and February, because we do get extremely busy. So if you have a weekend that you want to come, please let me know. I make every effort to accommodate our disabled veterans. There's no real cutoff, but texting me that you're coming and not hearing back from me is not getting a reservation. You really need to call me or text me, and if you don't hear back from me, we need to communicate. I need to know what your disability is. If you've been there before, oh, it's Ben. Yeah, I know Ben. It's no problem. We've got you in there. But I need to be aware of what's coming to me, so I've got enough staff. Cycling?
Yeah.
Cycling. We're going to probably be using primarily the Maryland Rail to Trail from Hancock back to Clear Spring area, Fort Frederick in that area. We also are going to be using the C&O Canal. The beauty of that cycling area is that you basically might cross a road here and there, but you're not out in a bunch of traffic that can.
What about the bikes? Are you guys providing those? Do they need to have their own?
If they have their own bike, they're welcome to bring their own bike. We have bikes. I have a resource for other bikes if we need to get larger, because I know Martinsburg VA is planning to bring 35 or 40. They want to empty the whole hospital this summer and come biking with us. There's a bike rental place in Hancock, but River and Trails down around, I can't think of it, but they're down on the Potomac a little bit further, and one of the guys that works there and runs it, he's one of my staff members, and they've got a boatload of conventional bikes as well. So he's offered to bring bikes up for a large event if we get 30 or 40 people. But I've got a dozen recumbent trikes, hand cycles, about half and half, hand or pedal, and we've got some conventional bikes as well that we use in the program, and we're growing and putting on more and more every year. We're also VA funded. Very happy and proud of that. We get funding from DAV for disabled sports activities, and we're one of their local. I don't want to say we're the only one, but we're their primary winter one that's in this region, put it that way. Any other questions? Did I mention it's free?
Bill's program is amazing. I mean, when I talked to Bill the first time, I was like, this is great. When we started bringing vets out there, I tell you, it is awesome. The instructors instruct you the entire day. I mean, they really are very knowledgeable. The instructors are highly experienced, highly knowledgeable. And I tell you, it's just an amazing program. And like Bill said, everything is completely free to feed you. I mean, it's.
What do you have now, Adam?
Say again?
What do you have now that you just bought?
Oh, yeah,
I
mean, it motivated me. I went out and bought skis and helmets, everything, boots, the bag. We bought snowboard boots, and I mean, we've been out and just went all out. It's so much fun. I've been skiing about 20 years ago with the church. When I was about 16 or so. Actually, I was a bit longer than that, 23 years or so. But it motivated me to get back out on the snow. I'm not a disabled veteran. We brought veterans to the program, but if you're a disabled vet and you've been thinking about this, I mean, it is just an amazing, amazing program. And Bill is just the nicest guy. Everybody that works with him is so nice, very personable, and they got their cool little hut that everybody chills out in, and it's just great. It's great. I think Bill.
That little hut is a 27-foot diameter yurt,
Yeah.
and it is very small. On weekends, it gets very crowded. There's no doubt about that. So we're hoping as we continue to grow that we'll have a brick and mortar building someday, and keep growing the program.
They literally provide everything. If you don't have snowboarding shell like a jacket or pants, goggles, hats, gloves. Literally everything you need to navigate it is provided, not to mention on top of that, they always have lunch. And everything's free. So, I mean, I've always had a great time, and I've gone a handful of times now. And you can't beat the instructions you get with it. He said you go out with like 3 or 4, but it's very easy. A lot of people are going to take on it quicker than others, so if those guys will go ahead a little bit, and then the person that's not, if that person doesn't progress, he'll send those people that have progressing to another group, and he'll continue to work with that one person until they're ready to move on. So nobody gets rushed, nobody gets pressured into doing anything uncomfortable. It's great.
Well, one question I get from participants is, "Oh, I don't need a lesson." Well, I've been teaching skiing since 1991, and most people that tell me they don't need a lesson need a lesson. and it's kind of, I would go, you're going to jump out of an airplane with no instruction. Skiing is a gravity sport. So we really focus, we're a PSIA, Professional Ski Instructors of America. I'm a fully certified Alpine instructor. A lot of my staff are, and I have an adaptive certification as well. I just didn't jump on the bandwagon to get fully certified in the adaptive world, because as a fully certified Alpine instructor, we're teaching skiing. I've had different people over the years go, "I don't know anything about adaptive." I go, "Well, can you make somebody turn to the right and the left and stop?" Well, that's what we do. We just adapt our lesson to what they bring to the table that we have to work with. And it really does work. I mean, the commitment you make as an able-bodied skier to maneuver a turn is the same commitment that disabled skier needs to use to effectively ski. So I've always regarded it as we're just teaching skiing and snowboarding, and then we're playing around with the different equipment that's necessary to help them get it done. And we work with blind, we work with, like I mentioned, PTSD, we work with just, we've even had some quad amputees show up. Obviously, they're a long way from becoming an independent skier, but there again, I had a vet there with his wife, and she goes, "Well, we were out in Colorado, and he was coming down Black Diamonds." Well, there's reins on a horse. You can put reins on a tethers, as we call them, on a bi-ski or a monoski, and you're the emergency brake, or the instructor's that emergency brake, and that person can come down a Black Diamond run being tethered. And I talked to him at dinner that night, because we often take our guys out to dinner if we can. And I was telling the young man, you know, I know your wife told me when you guys were out in Colorado skiing, you were coming down a Black Diamond Hill. I know you were stuck on the beginner hill with us today. But how would you know, we're working to take that tether off of you so you're skiing independently. And man, the smile he got on his face said everything. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to teach them how to adapt to their disability and become an independent skier if there's that possibility. In 99% of them can overcome that and become an independent skier. Obviously, if you're missing both arms and both legs, you're maybe never going to be out there by yourself. But double amputee, I was just talking to him the other day, and he wants to go down and use that indoor skiing thing in Leesburg. And I go, well, you can, but when you fall on that, I understand it's very hard. So, any other questions out there? Yes.
You don't have to leave from the meeting early, you're gonna be here after.
Well, I really do have to get home. I have a dog that's in heart failure, and my wife has appointments this afternoon. So what I prefer to answer all the questions right now.
Yeah, no, it's there's too many to talk to you about. So
Well,
so, yeah.
you can call me. Okay. And here we're going to pack all these and just pass them around the table. Please, if we run out, I've got more. And I'd like to thank Adam. Please, thank you so much for making this opportunity available to us. We're kind of a one-man, two-person show type thing, and we can't get to everything all the time. But this has been an incredible, rewarding morning for me as well, and I'm looking forward to becoming good friends with all of you and working together to take care of our population of veterans that are. I know I heard a gentleman earlier talking. I think maybe it was Team Rubicon that you're going. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe it's a Navy guy. That, you know, anybody from World War II, Korea, Vietnam. I've got Vietnam vets that are volunteering in our program and doing teaching. We've got. We have a couple guys, I think, from Korea that are participants in our program. And I tongue-in-cheek say anybody from the Spanish-American War on is eligible to come and ski with us. People say I was in that one, but that's not the case.
Facebook failed us, but YouTube